Hello and welcome or welcome back to Tabitha's Tomes. Today we'll be looking at all of the books I got within the last couple months. So a couple of things before we get started. First, I kind of accidentally organized this a little bit last time and that worked out really well. So this time I intentionally did that. Also, I went to BookCon with my friend and I have no impulse control when it comes to smiling authors telling me about their books. So I do have quite a bit from that. And then I forgot that when I came home from like a Christmas book exchange with some friends, my husband put my like basket on top of a shelf. And so when I went up there to like dust, I found the pile of books. So I have some Christmas books here. Yes, I do. And I think my friends, when they see that, they'll be like, that sounds about right. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my new release books. These are books that I got either through pre-order or I went and picked up right after they came out. So we've got the Book of Fallen Leaves. I got this because of the cover. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This cover is just, it's absolutely stunning. It says, inspired by an ancient samurai saga, this masterful epic fantasy debut weaves a powerful tale of ambition, vengeance, and sacrifice. I love basically everything I've ever read from Orbit, so I have really high hopes for this one. Then we have one I've already read, and that's Restless Star. This is book 9 in the Zodiac Academy. They've recently done all of these. This is the last one. They've done it in their new cover style, and I really do enjoy this style. And I love this series. This is my favorite fantasy romance series, so I definitely wanted to have all of the books of it. And that completes my collection of those. I'm not getting the in-between books. I very much stuck to the mainline series for that. Maybe one day I'll check out the others, but it's not likely. And then we have a book that was blowing up online because people were getting upset that it was more adult than they thought it was. I think this was her first adult book and they were not happy with some of the dark themes, but like, I don't think it's very hidden that it's gonna have dark themes, and I like dark themes, so I wanted to go ahead and pick this one up. I think this first edition book is just absolutely stunning. This is like, I know there's such mixed reviews on whether or not books should have the first edition like this, but when they put this much effort and care to it, I really enjoy it. When it's just like the block sprayed edge that's patchy and like gross looking, I don't like that. But when it feels quality, so like this feels like a special edition. So when it has that, but it's at like normal first edition book prices, usually these are about a couple dollars more, so that's not a big deal, but when it's that much of a difference, I do enjoy it. And it's also got like really stunning, gorgeous end papers. And I have read parts of one of her books before. The only thing I didn't like was that it was very YA, and this one is not. So I really enjoyed her writing. I just wasn't enjoying the YA elements, so should be good there. And then we have the paperback of The Book That Held Her Heart. I was waiting for this to come out in paperback before I reread book 1 and then continue on to the series. So now that this is out, I will need to read this at some point. I have heard some mixed things on book 3 since it has come out, so I'm a little bit worried there, but I'm not like overly concerned. I think I should still probably enjoy it. Okay, let's do some special editions next. So first of all, I loved The Poet Empress so unbelievably much that I needed the special editions for it. So this one is, I believe, the Illumicrate edition. Yep, this is the Illumicrate edition. And oh my goodness, she is gorgeous, absolutely beautiful. Love the like traditional looking art style. It's got beautiful, beautiful end papers, and it's just such an immaculate book. And then the naked hardcover is also really, really stinking pretty. So I found a good deal on that on Pango and scooped that one up. And then I also got the Owl Crate version, which unfortunately I did buy this a little bit, like I think I only bought this like $10 overpriced, which is totally fine. But it did immediately get a reprint or something on Owl Crate, so that's unfortunate for me, but whatever. I will take it still, and it is just stunning. And then these gilded edges are also the type that have like the secret hidden art, and oh, stunning, 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 stunning. It also has a reversible dust jacket, which both sides are gorgeous, so I wouldn't blame anyone for having either one of those sides out. There aren't too many books that I would have specifically 3 copies of, because I also have the standard edition, but this is one of those that absolutely, absolutely. Then next we have the broken binding edition of Steel Gods. This is the second book in a follow-up series to Justice of the Kings, Empire of the Wolf, if you're familiar with it. I loved Justice of Kings in the second book. I still haven't gotten around to the third book, so I need to do that because these just, piratey, they look so cool. So I really need to continue that series, but I knew I had to have this because amazing. I love his work. Then this one took so long. It took so long to get to me. I don't even know if I'm interested in the book anymore. That's how long it took for me to get this. I've had such mixed thoughts on V. Schwab's work, so we'll just see. But I pre-ordered this like immediately when the Kickstarter came out, like a couple of years ago, and it finally got here. And I don't know, like I've read more of her work since then, so I've had 5 stars and I've had like I will never think about this book ever again in my life kind of books from her, so we will see how that one goes. And then along with that one, this one isn't a special edition, but this one was like an add-on that you could do with that book, and that is Daniel Green's Neon Gods. This is actually pretty hefty too, so these are from Wraithmarked, and I really do love their quality, so I understand that why this one took a while. I have a couple of other books from them though, and they didn't take nearly as long as this one did. That one took so long. Let's do those Christmas books next. Christmas in April. And there are quite a few here because we go a little crazy, okay? First, we have Carrie. This is the 50th anniversary edition of Carrie. I do have a copy of Carrie already, but this is like a really cool special naked hardcover edition. I love when the cover design is on the naked hardcover. That is just peak. So this next one, I actually wasn't sure if I was going to continue these. I love Legends and Lattes so much. I gave it a 5-star when I read it, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't love the second one quite as much, so I wasn't 100% sure I was going to pick this one up, but this definitely throws that over the line since now I own it. And it is following the bookseller as she has a change in life, so I'm hoping that it does get a bit better than book 2 or book 0.5 or whatever that other one is. Then we have Frankenstein, and this is hilarious because my friend didn't even remember that she got me Frankenstein the previous year. So we were talking about how now it should be her tradition to make that one of the books that she gives me. So I'm just gonna have like a million copies of Frankenstein. But this one is like a really neat like it has some pop-ups, not pop-ups, but it has some like really neat stuff in it. So first of all, it's got some like colored pages. Then it's got various items throughout. So here's one where it's got this like, oh gosh, I don't even know how to show you guys this. It's got this little thing here, and I think you can spin it, open it. Oh yes, there we go. It's got this little thing here, and you can like, oops, interact with it. You can open it. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. Let me just do that here and then show you up there. So you can open it, and then there's like an eyeball peeking through. So nice and creepy. But this is just like an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous book. Oh, here's one where it does have a little pop-up. So this is like a really fun, neat copy. And thankfully we were buddy reading this as a group, and I was one of the people who loved it. So that worked out very well. Next, we have The Dark Queens, which I had read about half of this before and had to turn the library copy back in, and I haven't picked it back up since. And I was loving it. So one of my friends very kindly gifted this to me, and we actually just now read Wolf Hall, and it has me even more intrigued by like the medieval times. This is the Dark Ages, so not quite the same, but it has me even more intrigued to pick this up, probably reread the first bit of it, to be honest, but I was really enjoying everything we were having, so I'm so excited to have this. And also another thing that's like perfect timing is if you watched my Our Fantasy Bingo TBR, you might have seen that I had an Arthurian legend on there as like the first prompt, and I mentioned how much I'm ready for my hyperfixation, and then I have some of the books. I couldn't actually find these that day because I was going to pinpoint that, and I was like, I know I have these somewhere. They were on top of the bookshelf. The Winter King trilogy, starting with this one, which is a really nice trade paperback. This is like an older copy too, so this is like super cool. This specific edition is from 1996, and the first edition was 1995, so this is like not actually first edition, but very close to it. That's super cool. And then also the whole complete trilogy. I'm so unbelievably excited for this. I'm probably going to be buddy reading this with my friends just because I think we're all pretty excited to read those. And as I had just mentioned, Wolf Hall follows Thomas Cromwell, who is advisor to King Henry VIII. And one of my friends also gave me The Six Wives of Henry VIII. So a nonfiction about his wives. And I think that's so cool. I know I know a decent amount just because I loved the Tudor family as I was a kid and was very intrigued by that specific section of history, but I still think there will be a lot in here that I don't know, so that's super exciting. And last but certainly not least is the first edition of Assassin's Quest. Oh, look at her in all of her glory. She is gorgeous. Yeah, this will go right up there, right up. Oh, it's on this side, right over here with my other Robin Hobb books. Okay, now we have a stack of random books that don't go in any other category. And yes, I do have 2 categories after this and could have put this last, but we're putting it here. So Cycle of the Werewolf, I saw this at Half Price Books. I know that this is in one of the collections, but I really like that this is an illustrated copy of it. So I want to read this one. Also, I like the feel of it. It almost feels, it's not magazine glossy pages or anything like that, but it almost feels, because it's that thin book, it feels a little bit like a magazine. Next we have, speaking of Wolf Hall again, we have Bring Up the Bodies. And I think I landed on Wolf Hall being a 3.5 for me. I appreciated it more than I enjoyed it, but this one is significantly shorter. I also have a goal to complete all 100 books of New York Times Top 100 of the 21st century, and this is on there. And I think I'm going to be a little bit more intrigued by this one just because of some of the events that are happening in this one. So next we have The Vanishing Cherry Blossom Bookshop. This was the $5 book at Starbucks. Basically, if you have a Barnes & Noble and it has a Starbucks inside of it, a lot of times they'll have a book that you can buy for $5, and they have a different one like each month, and I really am intrigued by this. Plus it's very pretty. It has sparkles. There we go. Now you can see the sparkles in the light. Yes, sparkles. Pretty. Then some of my friends want to read Strange the Dreamer. I have very much been intrigued by her work. I know that Jay Kristoff has talked about her. We've got Lee Bardugo on the cover, and I've just heard really interesting things about her writing, so very intrigued by that one. One of my friends has also already gotten into it and is loving it so far, so very intrigued. Then we have a fun one. This is one where I was going to a horse jumping activity with some of my friends. We were going to watch horses jump around like a agility course thing, and then we went to get coffee, and then a library had set up an event there where they were doing blind date with a book, and this one said it was like gothic. It said, I don't remember everything that it said, but I remember gothic. I remember that it had really fun art prints on it, so I grabbed it, and it was one I didn't own, and that's Edith Haller. I don't know anything about this. I was really excited because it was vague enough where I was like, I could possibly own whatever book this is, but I don't. Also, it came with this feather. It says in here, the strange and entrancing story of a young woman trapped in a ramshackle English playhouse and the mysterious figure who threatens its very survival. That sounds super cool. Very much giving Phantom of the Opera vibes, so we'll see, because I have a friend who's also obsessed with Phantom of the Opera, so if that turns out to be Phantom of the Opera coded in any sense, I will have to let her know about it. Okay, second to last category here, we have my subscription books. These are very not organized, actually. First, we have, this is the Broken Binding Sci-Fi Fantasy New Book subscription book, and that's Daughter of Crows by Mark Lawrence. I did do the reversible jacket side out because I'm not a big fan of the inside jacket. And this one is just, the other one is illustrated. This one is just a different color. And I forgot that I had already had this pre-ordered, so I now have two. I don't know if I'm gonna end up keeping this subscription for a whole lot longer because of a couple reasons. One, because it's a newer release, it's not as vetted. So I find really good books in Broken Binding's other subscriptions, but because, I mean, this is Mark Lawrence, this is gonna be just fine. But because they're newer releases, we don't know if they're gonna stand the test of time, where the backlist ones pretty much do, so odds are better that they're going to be a really good book. But also, I think part of it also is I'm not loving the art as much in these newer releases, and I think that goes along with the backlist books being books that are well loved. They are cherished. There is art, like you can find fan art on all of those books. You can find really good, you can find really good descriptions. People have already read these. They've already loved them. So you can already find like standout scenes that are in those books, especially since I know they work with a lot of booktubers who have already read them. And so they would know what scenes to direct the artist to do. For these, they're not like they might have read an arc. They haven't spent the years though loving it and cherishing it. So that could be why I'm not loving the art as much on these. And then the last reason I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it is because I really like that the fantasy subscription and the sci-fi subscription are complete series. So you're gonna get, like when they did Powder Mage, you're gonna get book 1, 2, and 3, month. But these ones, they might, I'm guessing they'll end up putting out books 2 and 3 or whatever when they come out, but then I'm gonna have to remember to order those. So we will see. I am still on the fence, so I'm not doing anything yet, but I am considering canceling that subscription specifically. One, I canceled for a minute, literally like 1 month, and then immediately re-upped, is Aardvark. I love these editions and I love these prices. So you get, at least in the United States, you get your first book for $17.99, and then you get each additional book, up to 2 more books for $9.99 each. And they are just so smooth, they are so soft, and sometimes they have a nice deluxe edition. So Japanese Gothic, in this case, is a very pretty deluxe edition, and it is signed. So all of that for even cheaper than a normal regular price book. I am so happy with this one. And then the other two that I chose in my Aardvark box were Dear Monica Lewinsky. I think this said that it was a comedy and historical in some sense. And then The Radiant Dark, which was sci-fi, and I want to say it might have been thrillery as well. I don't remember. I read the descriptions on these and I read the little first page, and then immediately it is gone from my brain. But these were the 3 that I got from Aardvark this month. And then this one, this is why I also hesitate to cancel that new subscription, because this is also from that same fantasy sci-fi Broken Binding, and it's so beautiful. Green and Deadly Things by Jen Lyons. I'm not gonna read this yet because I still have her other series, which starts with The Ruin of Kings. I want to read that first before I read this one, and then I want to read that really pretty one that has like a dragon over a city. It's like one of the most beautiful covers ever. I'm gonna put it here. I don't own it yet because I was waiting until I read that other series to see if I like her writing, but I do own this now. I want to read those other ones first though. Then from the fantasy subscription, we have The Bone Shard War, which I'm pretty sure is book 3 in this series. Yep, the final book in the unmissable, action-packed, magic-laced Drowning Empire trilogy. And these are just absolutely stunning. And then we have book 1 and book 2 for the sci-fi subscription, and that is Wool and Shift. All I know about this series is this is a dystopian trilogy, and I think it has a show on like Hulu or something as well. I don't know the reception of the show though, so we shall see. All right, and then last but certainly not least, we have my New York trip books. Okay, we are going to start with BookCon books. So first we have Awakening of the Starborn, which the author was saying is definitely more dark and emotionally taxing than the cover makes it seem. This author was so sweet. In fact, all of these people's books who I bought, they were incredibly sweet. And we had such a good little pocket within BookCon. I see all of these reels and videos about like surviving BookCon and about all of the chaos. That was not in our area. Our area was an absolute delight. Everyone was so nice. And all of the people who came by were just so unbelievably overstimulated from the top floors. So they just came over and they were just so sweet. Everyone was so sweet. We had a very good pocket in Indie Alley. It was really nice. Next we have The Final Orchard, which is a sci-fi book with bionic enhancements. So that sounds pretty cool. Then I got book 1 and 2 of, I am not sure the name of the series. I'm not sure the name of the series, but the first book is The Ravens of London. Ooh, very shiny. And the second book is The Morning Star. And I asked her if these were Peaky Blinders inspired because of this cover, and she said, and then it also said on there that they were fantasy horror, which I love that genre blend. So very excited about this one. Next we have another sci-fi, and that is Lost in the Light. I'm not sure if this is sci-fi or sci-fi romance. I know she said that it was sci-fantasy for sure. They had a mix of science fiction and fantasy. So exciting. And this one was right across from me. So I was sitting here looking at this poster that said emotional damage, and then it had dystopian, and then it had cozy dystopian. So I had to pick up both. This one is the cozy dystopian with Taiwanese food, and that is all that holds between them. Super cute, and came with this adorable little sticker. Yeah, right there. Cute. On the complete opposite spectrum, we have Of Friction. This is a dystopian, and it's said to be very emotionally devastating. So we'll have our hearts ripped out and then put back together. And I'm very excited for that. And then last, we have books from the Strand. We went to a couple of other local bookstores there, but I only ended up purchasing ones at the Strand. We have, first of all, a signed edition of Jeanette McCurdy's Half His Age. I loved her memoir, so very intrigued by this one, and it's signed, so I had to pick that up. I was on the fence on whether or not I was going to even pick that up, but it was signed, so I had to. And this one I've been looking for a while, but I wanted it at like a decent price, and Strand apparently has Strand value books. So I got this for very cheap, and it was definitely worth the extra luggage space. So grabbed that one, which is a short story collection from Stephen King. And then 3 of their blind books. So these ones I chose to wait to open these with you. So we have the very first thing I picked up at the Strand actually, which is Supporting Women's Wrongs. And it has a picture of Ghostface on it. So my only guess is that it's on the same lines as something like C.J. Lead, some serial killer woman. So let's see what it is. Let's see what Supporting Women's Wrongs is. Scarlett Clark. Oh, I've read this. Ha! They Never Learn. I actually really enjoyed this book. And I don't have a copy of it, so that's perfect. This is about a teacher who murders her male students for very good reasons. That's fun. Okay, so I've already read that one, but very happy to have it. Next we have Squid Game meets The Bachelor in this dark academia satire. I don't think I have a single guess for this one. Yeah, no, I have no guess at all. The only one I can think of, I have some dark academia books, but I don't think any of them have like a romance element like that. There's only one that I can think of that does have a romance element. But I also don't think that would match the Squid Game. So let's see what she is. Okay, they're Vicious Games. I have never read any of her books, actually. I think this is, I could have swore this one was YA, so that's interesting that it matches Squid Games. So it's Ivy League College, so maybe it's not YA. I always thought, oh, it does say Simon & Schuster Teen. So this is a YA one. We shall see how this goes. Squid Game meets The Bachelor. Definitely more interested now. I do love this cover. I love that it's got the like really shiny bits. Okay, last one. Not feeling yourself? Convinced you're possessed? Fill out a survey today. Gorgeous. It's so beautiful. Okay, let's see what it is. Oh, do I have any guesses? So it's a possession story. It looks like a female protagonist. Literally the only thing I can think of that's a possession story with a female protagonist. Nope. That's about the preacher for The Exorcist. I don't know, let's find out. Oh, I have never heard of this one. Interesting. Love the cover. Come Closer by Sarah Gran. Esquire 50 Best Horror Books of All Time. NPR 100 Favorite Horror Stories. Book Riot 50 Scariest Books of All Time. I love a list, so I might have to check out those lists. A woman is haunted by impulses she cannot control in this modern horror classic with a postscript addressing novel's cursed afterlife. Okay. A recurrent, unidentifiable noise in her apartment, a memo to her boss that's replaced by obscene insults, shoplifting, fighting, blackouts. A voice in her head that tells her to meet strange men in bars to hurt people. Amanda is a successful architect in a happy marriage. There must be a reasonable explanation for all of this. Okay, I am like super intrigued. See, this is what I wanted out of this. I am very excited about these as well. I've already read this one. I am excited to check this one out, but this is like what I was really excited for. A book that I haven't heard of that sounds right up my alley. Hype. Okay. Well, those are all of the books I have hauled in the last couple months with some book events and Christmas books that needed to actually make it on my shelves. Let's see what we have here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, well, I have 38 books here to add to my shelves, some of which I've read, most of which I have not yet. Let me know if you've read any of these and which ones you highly recommend putting top of TBR. If you're not feeling chatty, leave me your favorite horror emoji for some of the nice spooky books I have in this pile here. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Tell me the only thing you are is